Well, guys, I broke down. I knew it was probably going to happen sooner or later. I wasn't enthusiastic about seeing Avatar: The Ways of Water or The Way of Water, but I sort of thought at the same time, yeah, you're gonna probably see this at some point. You're not. This isn't gonna this theatrical run isn't gonna totally go by with you not seeing this movie. And I thought to myself, yeah, I guess. There was enough of me that wanted to check it out. Even though I'm not a James Cameron fan, hated Titanic, was not a huge fan of the first Avatar movie. You name it. I'm not a fan, but at the same, well, I guess, I liked the first Terminator movie, so there was that, and the second Terminator movie was sort of okay. I always preferred the first one for reasons that I've gone into before, but I think the video where I talked about that is now gone, so maybe in the future I'll post a Terminator review. Maybe another one of those, reviews where you look at a movie that was a cultural phenomenon and consider what if it had just existed on its own and none of the sequels had happened, like I did with Star Wars. Not Star Wars A New Hope, but Star Wars. So anyway, I recognize the guy's talent, but he kind of annoys me too. But anyway, I figured, this is something you're probably going to want to see, just to check it out. And so yesterday I did it. I took the plunge. I went in, put my 3D glasses over my regular glasses, which is always fun, and sat down for 3 hours plus a movie, Avatar, or rather Avatar: The Way of Water. So here's the interesting thing about Avatar: The Way of Water, the sequel to the movie Avatar, which came out like 12 years ago or something. I'm exaggerating a little, but it's weird that now we're getting the sequels. When, as had been pointed out by some other movie critics, the whole cultural impact of Avatar didn't really extend that far. I mean, it sold really well. It seems like all of James Cameron's movies do. They all cost a lot. They're all this huge spectacle, and then everybody, and their mother ends up seeing them, and they make bucket loads of money. That was true of Titanic, which again I hated, and it was true of the first Avatar, which I didn't care for, but I didn't hate. All right, I'm going to spend just a few minutes talking about, some general things before really hitting on what I find to be the most interesting thing about this movie, and something that I wasn't expecting going in to see it. Yes, visually it's very impressive. It's eye candy, for 3 hours. Special effects are great. Yeah, I mean, and all that. It cost what, $500 million to make, and you can tell. It's also well, I don't think any of the dialogue is going to be remembered as incredibly profound or original or anything like that. There's a good bit of melodrama. It's kind of overwrought. It's definitely too long, in my opinion. There are some good action scenes, some good fight scenes, but I don't see why it had to be quite as long as it was. A very, very convoluted storyline, which I don't entirely get. There's human characters who become Na'vi. They assume the avatar of the Na'vi characters, but in order to defeat the Na'vi, to exterminate the Na'vi, so that the human population can take over this planet Pandora, because Earth is dying. And there's there's other storylines. There's whales or whale-like creatures that have this special ingredient in their innards that's like ambergris, except it's not just oil that lights. It's not just what you can use to light candles and such, like in Moby Dick, but it actually is a substance that stops aging, and so it's very, very valuable. And you have these whalers who go after these whales, using the tactics that whalers use on Earth, which are terrible, immoral, awful tactics. So there's this whole environmental aspect of the story. There's like kid drama, your teenage romance drama. Kids trying to fit in a new environment and all this kind of stuff. And it's all right, but it's the visuals that really are the remarkable thing. The dialogue isn't that great. The situations are not that unique. It's just that they happen to be set on an alien world, and where some of the kids are all Na'vi. You can tell from their having a certain number of fingers, but if they have 5 fingers, then that means that they're actually the offspring of a human who became a Na'vi. And there's all kinds of stuff like that. Anyway, so a lot of stuff that I guess is kind of lore building, but that stuff doesn't really sell the movie for me. The two things that do sell the movie are, number one, the visuals. They're fantastic, no question about it. And even though I think it's too long, the battle scenes are really good. A lot of the action takes place in the ocean of Pandora, and so there's all these creatures. Like I said, there's these whale-like creatures who are, I guess, sentient. Have their own language, have their own compose symphonies and stuff. All the sort of things that the Greenpeace types say are true about the whales on Earth, which I don't think they are really true, but anyway, I'm still against whaling. I still think it's awful. Call me a liberal commie if you want, but that's how I feel. Here's the most surprising thing about the movie, is that it's actually very wholesome insofar as its portrayal of family. There's nothing that's subversive of family. There's nothing that there's no character who's being oppressed, by being like there's not a it's not like in Titanic, where Kate Winslet is oppressed by patriarchy, and so she flees from her terrible rich boyfriend and carries on with Leo before leaving him to die in the ocean at the end. There's nothing like that. There's no feminist angle. There's no anti-family angle in any way. There's no subversive angle in any way. The movie is very, very, very pro-family, and not only is it pro-family, it's very it's pro-traditional roles. So the father, the guy who was the one who became the man, human who became the Avatar in the last movie, and then went native and had this romance with this local chick. In this movie, they are married. They have children together. They have a ton of kids, and one of them, there's some weird stuff. One of them is adopted. Under some odd circumstances, where her mother was human, Her mother was Sigourney Weaver's character from the first movie, which I don't remember very much about. And there's another kid who's human, who's actually human, and who's with like a band of good humans have stayed behind to want to be there to help out the Na'vi, as opposed to the bad humans, which are most of them, who want to just strafe the place and exterminate the natives and take it over and plunder the riches that are there. The out of the nice humans, there's one kid who is also sort of a part of their family. So they have a couple of adopted ones, but like 3 or 4 of their own. And family is it's all about family. And the father's role is to be protective of the family. And the mother's role is to be nurturing in the family. Now, there are a couple of scenes where we see a mother go into this sort of what do they call it, grizzly bear, go into this mama bear mode where her kids are being threatened, so she just goes berserk and goes off and does her thing and fights very capably. But it's notable in that it's not like the feminist thing of we can stand by you and there's no difference between us and you and blah blah blah. Now the humans do have one older female general who's the sort of crusty old PE teacher sort of lady, if you catch my drift. But generally speaking, there's absolutely no gender politics in this movie at all. There's no subversive politics when it comes to the institution of the family. The family is everything. We see the sort of typical conflicts that come out, even in a happy family, where the father is charged to be protective, and so he gets on the case of his older sons, when they do something that he thinks is foolish, and then the mother takes him aside and says, "Aren't you being a little hard on them?" And they're just, it's not easy to be who they are. They look up to you, and all this kind of stuff, which is so wonderfully traditional. And it was kind of flabbergasting just how based and how wholesome the movie is in its portrayal of the family. Now, granted, they're a bunch of aliens, or they're a bunch of humans who became aliens and mated with aliens, and then their kids had part human, part one finger too many, or something like that. But nevertheless, you put aside the fact that they're all blue and stuff, except the one adopted kid who's human, or I guess he's semi-adopted. He sort of hangs around. Put all that aside, and the pro-family sentiment is really quite striking. I don't know that we've seen this in James Cameron movies before. I guess that in the Terminator movies, there was the relationship between Sarah Connor and John Connor, her son, and so there was that kind of family connection, but there was no. But Linda Hamilton became a badass, and was could shoot anybody and take anybody down, and she had big muscles and stuff. Here again, when you see the women characters, the female characters, the mother characters in battle or whatever, what's driving them is that they want to protect their kids, and they lose it. They go berserk if their kids are in danger, or if somebody is threatening their kids, or if without any spoilers, there's one character who doesn't make it, and this sends one mother into a frenzy of rage. But again, this is more the natural kind of feminine response, motherly response. maternal, bond that brings out that mother bear instinct. And there are no transgenders. There are no, sissy boys. There, there's nothing like that. There's nothing that really disrupts what we used to generally see as, the standard issue, family archetypes. And I don't know if Cameron did this on purpose or not, but it's interesting in a couple of ways, because there's one character, the villain, one of the humans who becomes a Na'vi in order to hunt down the man who he felt betrayed his squadron before. He is even humanized by a bond with someone who turns out to be his son, and at a crucial scene, he can't do the villainous thing and just cut his son's throat, or allow somebody else to cut his son's throat. He can't abide that. So that helps to humanize or is that the right way to put it? To Navi-ize this character, to help us see him, in a more sympathetic light. I would say that's also something that I like about the movie, is that even though the bad guys are bad, you see what motivates them much more, and you can, you understand their point of view a bit more than you do what I'm remembering in the original, which is just they were awful and inhuman and murderous, and just wanted to sort of the stock stand-in for Western colonialists and all that, against the noble savage. Now, there still is the colonialist versus the noble savage motif, which you can say, yeah, that's sort of a politically correct or woke sort of thing. But I would say that the pro-family stuff that's in this movie is there to such a degree that it sort of drowns all that out, all the Dances with Wolves-esque, white man bad kind of stuff. The ultimate theme, it seems to be, is about how families stick together, stand up for one another. Everybody's got a role to play. The parents have to guide the kids, and sometimes when the parents are in trouble, the kids can guide the parents. And it's actually rather touching, in its way. So I was surprised at how wholesome and, if you will, based this movie actually is. So do I recommend it? I don't know. If you don't mind the extra running time, if you're a science fiction fan, yeah, I guess I semi-recommend it. I'm not going to say it's a great movie or anything, but I did enjoy it. I will admit that I enjoyed it, and I was pleasantly surprised by the definite non-woke elements, the based and wholesome family values that it carried. So those are my thoughts on Avatar: The Weight of Water. Thanks for watching.